to be sharing with you in this video why being as egotistical as possible is the best possible thing you can do for everybody, for yourself and other people. This might sound a little bit controversial. This might be like, what do you mean? Like, isn't being egotistical like the opposite of what you want to be doing for people? Isn't being egotistical bad? I'm going to share with you in this video why actually being egotistical can actually be a good thing, and what even being egotistical actually is. Like, what does it mean to be egotistical? What is even ego? Let's talk about that in this video so that you can use this information to become the best person that you really want to be, and not allow your ego to be this bad thing where your ego is your enemy. Like, no, actually your ego is your best friend. Your ego is not a bad thing. I'm going to be sharing with you in this video exactly what I mean by that, so that you can become best friends with your ego and manifest the reality that you truly want for yourself. So if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally and check out my website, all the details for that will be down below. Also, my book is coming out really soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that your needs come first. Okay, if you don't put your needs first, if you don't actually put your needs first and what you need, you're not going to be in a position, there's no possibility, you're not going to be in a position to be of support to anybody in life. That's been my experience, at least, is that if you want to be a valuable member of society, if you want to be supportive to other people on this planet, on Earth, then what's going to happen is that you're going to need to eventually claim your power back and simply decide to put your needs first. Because what I've come to realize in my own life is that when I was like helping people that were in a needy space, because like I felt really bad for these people. But sometimes, like, you know what's funny is like people that are really needy sometimes don't even actually want help. They don't want your help. They're not ready for support. And oftentimes, if you still believe that lowering your state and kind of like going into the space where you're losing, like you're getting drained and you're losing all your life force in order to help somebody that's needy, and then you feel like you have to kind of become needy in your own energy in order to be supportive to somebody, what that shows to me personally, and what I've seen that to mean in my life personally, is that actually means that I'm still being a little bit needy. It means that I'm not actually in my power, because if I'm whole, if I'm complete, I feel zero need to feel like really bad. Not that I don't have compassion, but the thing is that the most compassionate thing that often I can do is first and foremost take care of my needs. And that compassion, that love, I can only feel compassion for somebody that's really needy or somebody that's struggling when I've taken care of my own needs first. See, if I'm lost in the neediness, if I'm in the problem, how can I have compassion for the problem if I have not myself overcome the problem? The energy of resistance and suffering and not feeling whole, that energy of like, God, I have compassion, comes from a space of wholeness and completeness. And that compassion doesn't mean that I need to feel necessarily bad. I can actually feel people's pain. I don't know how it is for you. If you're as sensitive as me, I can feel people's pain. But the thing is that I've come to see that I don't see it as a bad thing. And I see it for what it is, but I also don't see it as something that's bad. And I don't see where like I need to be so compassionate where I start to lose myself in the problem, because now that's too much compassion. I think that's too much compassion. See, there's a certain level of compassion that you want to have for somebody, but too much compassion can be problematic for you and the other person. So this is about understanding both sides, right? You're a whole and complete person, and they also have their sovereignty. And I don't want to be like meddling too much with other people's sovereignty. In fact, at all, as little as possible. I want to meddle with anybody's energy. In fact, close to nothing. I don't want to meddle with people's energy at all. And so what I've come to realize is that what I want to do in order to really help people is to put my needs first. To put my needs first, because I come first before anybody else. And it's like, well, isn't that egotistical? Isn't that bad? Isn't that like selfish? Look, everybody is selfish. You have to be a little bit selfish in order to be selfless in life. If you want to be supportive to somebody, you have to be a little bit selfish. Now, if you don't agree with this, let me just go a little bit deeper into this point so I can clarify what exactly I mean by this, so that you can actually understand that it is, in fact, in my personal opinion, one of the best things you can do. So first of all, what I want to share is, yes, I've shared this before on my channel, but I want to go more in depth on this point right now in this video. And I want to explain it in the most explicit and in the most easy to understand way possible. I don't know if I said that right. And what I want to share with you is that lack doesn't exist. And so, I don't want to make a claim and just to tell you that. I want to ask you a question. What if lack didn't exist? What if something lacking didn't exist? What if there was enough? What if there was always enough? What if there was enough for you? And what if there was enough for every single person that also wants to have everything? What if you could have everything you wanted? And what if everyone could also have everything that they wanted, and you didn't have to take anything from their free will and from their sovereignty as a conscious being in order to get what you want? What if you didn't have to manipulate other people's energy and their free will and choice, and you didn't have to sacrifice your moral ethic code, whatever that is, right? Your basic instincts, your basic intelligence. What if you didn't have to go against your basic intelligence, your natural instinct, in order to get what you want? So with that question being said, what I want to share with you is that, in my opinion, everyone gets a chance to own fully who they are in existence. Everybody. Whatever that means. You could see what being ego as so many different things. You could say being egotistical means this, being egotistical means this. What is even egotistical? What I would say is that everybody gets a chance to own fully who they are. Everybody. Everybody gets a chance to be who they really want to be. Everybody. What if everybody had a chance in existence to really be who they wanted to be, so that you could have everything you wanted, and so could everybody? That's what I want you to consider here, is the possibility that everybody gets a chance to be fully who they are, to have the abundance that they desire, to be completely whole and complete, be completely sovereign, to be completely abundant, to have everything you desire, and that actually every single person in existence can also be that as well. Everybody gets a chance. And it doesn't mean that even that you get a permission slip to be negative or bad. That's not what I'm saying. So I don't want to miscommunicate this, where it's oh, are you saying that we have are you giving me permission to be super negative or super bad? No, I'm saying to let yourself be abundant, to let yourself feel whole, to remove the guilt and the shame around that. And that's what people think ego is. Because what that means is that if you let yourself be whole, that means you're not going to necessarily agree with everybody. Somebody might tell you oh, this is what you should do. And you can just simply say, there doesn't have to be any negativity or resistance. You could say, no, actually, this is how I personally do things, right? And even though I said the word personally, it doesn't have to be any kind of war or attacking energy. It's just, this is how I am, and this is how I do things. But it's you can do things how you want, and it doesn't have to be where it's there is any kind of negativity around me being who I want to be and you being who you want to be. So I'm not saying that there has to be any kind of war or any. I'm not giving you a permission slip to be, negative or manipulative, because what I mean by egotistical is to simply allow yourself to be who you want to be. And usually when you let yourself be who you want to be, all the negative stuff that you're afraid of happening in your life just kind of goes away. So what I'm going to conclude this video with is to understand that whatever that means to you, whoever you want to be, whatever person you need to embody in your life, I want to conclude this video with the understanding that even if someone disagrees, even if somebody completely disagrees, what I've come to realize is that two things will happen. Is that if somebody disagrees with your frequency, with your embodiment, with who you are being, with who you are choosing to embody in your at the current point in your life right now, what I've come to realize is that two things can happen. Either number one, eventually they will actually agree with the belief system, and that's all it is to have an ego, by the way, is to own and embody a particular kind of belief system. And that's not bad, because many people talk about like, oh my gosh, like screw the matrix, screw the system. It's like, no, actually the matrix just is what it is, but you can create your own matrix consciously and your own system consciously, or you can just kind of not do that, and it can happen on just on accident. There's no conscious deliberate intention, and so there's no soul, you could say, behind your creation. So anyways, to conclude this video, two things can happen. As number one, eventually they will agree with your belief system that they previously disagreed with, and in fact they may even thank you. They may thank you because even though they disagreed at that point in their life, and it maybe even got them to be angry at you, it's not that you can control that, right? If somebody's angry at you, you can't control that, right? You can't control their sovereignty. They'll either get angry at you, they might even get a little bit resentful at you, but again, you can't control that, right? You can control that. But they eventually will agree, and they will even thank you. Because even though they couldn't see it at the time, when somebody is fully owning a certain kind of frequency, what's going to happen is that people can get angry and resentful and judge. But what some people don't realize when they do this is that they can also, because lack doesn't exist, they can also be, so if somebody says no, actually, you can make as much money as you want. Let's just say that's the embodiment. And somebody says no, this, you can't do that because and they get angry and resentful and disagree, and somebody's firm. They're not attacking, they're not trying to be right necessarily, even though it can kind of come off like that, because in a way they are right. Really, they're just embodying who they want to be. They're not being right from a space of trying to prove something wrong to somebody, if you kind of get what I'm trying to say. But it's so think about it. If lack doesn't actually exist, that person, they can take some of that embodiment in their own way. They can also be yeah, I like that, I'm going to take that. Or they could just disagree and it doesn't affect them. So either somebody will actually disagree and later they'll actually thank you, or what will happen is that they'll disagree so much that it'll give them what they need to just be something else that they actually want, that's completely a different vibration, that's such different vibration, it's completely different, that it might even require them to be kind of a little bit, you could say, angry, but I don't want to say angry, but to have a firm and strong boundary away from that person and whatever they're embodying, because it's just simply, it's not a vibrational fit. The energy, the belief systems are so different from each other that it's no, God, they might even feel a little bit disgusted by who you're being, and that's okay. That's okay. That's completely okay. In fact, that's really good information for them, because whatever they're embodying, they need that contrast to be like, that's disgusting. Does that make sense? That's disgusting. I don't want any of that. That's disgusting. That's repulsive. They should be repulsed. And so that's what's happening when you fully own your ego, when you fully own your identity. And if you don't do this, what's going to happen is that nobody's ever going to get that amazing feeling of being a whole and complete person, because they're just carrying frequencies and vibrations and belief systems from all over that they don't even want. And if you don't give yourself permission to own your belief systems, you're just going to get a reflection of many other people in sort of this like reality where they also don't give themselves permission. And you're going to think that's just how it is. That's just life. That's not just life. That's just one reality. I've come to see that what happens is that when we own who we are, we start to manifest powerful things and life becomes amazing. And with that, I conclude this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, all of the details for that will be down below. As always, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next